If you want to know what a presidential candidate is going to be really all about, you got to look at where their money's coming from. You know how we do. Follow the money, seek the truth. And so if you want to know what RFK Jr.'s campaign is really all about, you actually are going to have to look at Nicole Shanahan and figure out what she's all about. Because he gets money from lots of sources, but she's a big one. And I naturally had a lot of questions. And I just got back from San Francisco where I went to interview her, and I got a lot of those questions answered. This video is not paid for by the Kennedy campaign in any way. They don't even know that I'm making this video. They did not pay me to go to San Francisco. They did pay for my trip, so I didn't have to pay out of pocket to go there. That's industry standard for people in my position. I just went to interview her about her stances on things like technology, AI, Bitcoin, all sorts of stuff. That interview will be dropping this week. But I also had a lot of private conversations, which I will not divulge the details of, with her and her campaign and her partner Jacob and a bunch of the people surrounding her. And so this video is just me giving you my personal take as an investigative journalist, as a dude who got to go and meet them and got the feel for what those people are all about and what they're like. And I'm just going to give you a data point of my personal take. Whatever credibility you think I have as an investigative reporter, as a person, I'm lending that to what I'm about to say. And I feel pretty comfortable making this take. First off, Nicole's super busy, and I only got to spend the interview and a little bit of time before and after talking to her. And everything she said, both on camera and off camera, made me extremely confident that I like her as a person and I like her policies, and I really admire where her head is at. I think, like myself, she has some of the best parts of the left and has swung to a lot of the best parts of the right and landed somewhere pretty cool in the middle. She was extremely successful in her own right before she met this guy. And the media's in overdrive, writing hit pieces, trying to smear all different directions of her, and that's whatever, par for the course. My personal take is that Sergey is a pretty evil man, from all indications, and he runs a pretty evil CIA operation at Google, speaking in generalities. And whatever tiny fraction of his net worth she walked away with at the end of that, if she's going to use that for good instead of for censoring us and surveilling us, I'm cool with that. And actually, this is how most presidential campaigns get on the corporate take, is because they need money to get the White House, and the corporate interests are the ones that have money. And so if you don't have it, they get to decide who does and doesn't get there. And so him finding someone that has a slice of that pie that believes in what he believes in is kind of fucking awesome. And if she's not corrupted by those interests and she's actually a genuine human that really believes what she's saying and wants to do good by all of us, like, that's badass and kind of hilarious too. A lot of what they talk about is kind of like directly taking on the censorship industrial complex, and they're going to use the censorship industrial complex's money to do it. I'm kind of joking, but it's also kind of a hilarious joke. And speaking of taking on the censorship industrial complex, I didn't realize, but I was also there at the same time as Mike Benz, who she was also interviewing. Dope guy, shout out Mike Benz, keep exposing the censorship industrial complex. And I actually spent most of my day hanging out with her staff and her partner Jacob. And getting a sense for who someone surrounds themselves with is a great way to get a sense for who that person is and what they believe. So first question, is Nicole Shanahan aligned with, in any way, the big interests of Silicon Valley and the rich billionaire tech executives that are kind of ruining our world? Absolutely not. Not going to tell you about how and why I believe this, but absolutely not. No, she is not. She does have lots of friends in the industry in various places, but they're not people like this. Instead, she has friends that are involved with blockchain, cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, and a whole bunch of really progressive technological concepts that are coming whether we like it or not, and we need knowledgeable people that can steer these technologies in a good direction for all of us. Spending a fair bit of my day with Jacob, I have nothing but respect for this dude. He is such a legend. Like, what an incredible human. What a homie. Both very smart and very kind. I could not say enough nice things about Jacob. Nicole has 100% moved up in the world, going from a sociopath like Sergey Brin to a homeboy like Jacob. And the deep ties that come to Bitcoin, the Lightning Network, the progressive end of the blockchain technology space, huge win. This is how we wind up with free and fair monetary systems going forward instead of central bank digital currencies that turn the whole world into a hellscape. As for the other people she's surrounding herself with and talking to, inviting me, a conspiracy theorist from the left, so to speak, and Mike, a former Trump speechwriter. Obviously, we're both way more than that, but just for brevity's sake, she's talking to people from all sides. That's dope. Her campaign is being staffed and run by people from the right and from the left. The homies Zach and Brandon were awesome people. Again, they don't even know I'm making this video. This is my genuine take, and I feel comfortable putting it on the internet for whatever that's worth. I went specifically to gather information, public and private, for my own understanding of what's going on with their campaign and whether I feel comfortable continuing to say good things about them. If I'd gotten weird vibes or a bad taste in my mouth, I definitely would not be making a video like this. I would probably just quietly be moving on. I got nothing but genuine vibes, and I left with strong confirmation that I feel good about my stance. I obviously don't agree with them on every issue, and Nicole and Bobby differ on some of the issues, but they stand together, and I stand with them on the most core issues of all, which Bobby perfectly elucidated in his speech at the Libertarian National Convention the other night. Contrary to what all the media smears against him show, here he speaks about the Second Amendment, and then at the end I'll do the part about climate change that everyone is getting fooled by.
The only amendment that did not come under attack during the COVID pandemic was the Second Amendment. And many Americans believe that the reason for that is because we have a Second Amendment. Incidentally, President Trump also assaulted the First Amendment, or failed to defend press freedom when he continued President Obama's persecution and prosecution of Julian Assange. Assange should be celebrated as a hero. Doing exactly what journalists are supposed to do, which is to expose government corruption. We should be putting him in prison. We should have a monument to him here in Washington, D.C. Same is true for Edward Snowden. And Congress went ahead and passed legislation because of the findings of Edward Snowden. If he hadn't told us, we wouldn't know about it. He's a hero, not a criminal. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what President Trump should have done. On my first day in office, I'm going to pardon Edward Snowden, and I'm going to drop charges, all charges against Julian Assange.
Any journalist that does not stand with Julian Assange and with Edward Snowden is not a journalist. They're a propaganda artist. The job of a journalist is to hold the powerful to account. And we've got a presidential candidate coming in here whose entire life's career is about holding powerful corporations and their corrupt cronies to account, prosecuting them and convicting them in the court of law. And you expect me to believe that he's a corporate plant or some. A lot of people point to this fake clip that's like a little micro clip where he seems to say that climate change people should be in jail, which is a clear smear campaign. I'm talking about this clip that always gets taken out of context.
I think they should be in jail. I think they should be enjoying.
But he is actually talking about the Koch brothers and all the billionaires that have been dumping toxic waste into our rivers and soil and air.
Cuyahoga River was burning. The Santa Barbara oil spill had destroyed the beaches in Southern California. And a lot of people were saying, we can't change this. And 20 million Americans that came out in the street, 10% of our population, the largest public demonstration in American history. And it frightened the politicians, this vast outpouring of democratic power. And over the next 10 years, we passed 28 major environmental laws in this country that protect our air, water, wildlife, fisheries, public lands, and, the bad guys, the Koch brothers.
So anyways, that's my take right now. Take it for what it's worth. I just think it's really weird how many anti-establishment people that claim to be free thinkers are being fooled by the very obvious establishment smear campaign against the two most anti-establishment people in the race. Think about who is threatened by a pardon for Julian Assange and Edward Snowden and protections for whistleblowers, and think about the lengths they would go to keep that from happening. Think about the propaganda they would put out, the divisiveness they would sow. So anyways, I'm going to keep doing what I do, interviewing them, hearing from them, judging them accordingly, just like I do with all candidates. I'm just filling you guys in on what I know now. Interview coming out later this week.